All right, enough of that. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I can put the headphones on if the audio is not very good. Just let me know. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like wearing the headphones. Sometimes I don't. Hopefully you can hear the music okay. I was playing that through my phone, which I think my phone has better speakers than my laptop. I don't know why. It's probably because it's newer, right? All right. We got GTK Comic in the house. Trying to light my stogie here. I'll try this. I always get the butane lighter out. Can't go wrong with that. There we go. All right, we got GTK Comic. We got Luis Ramirez, of course. He's always watching. I'm sure we'll get a few more to join. I kind of sent out the notifications a little late. I sent a few over Instagram and obviously through YouTube. People are probably getting it right now, so I'm sure we'll get more to join shortly. So we got some things to go over. Comic book news. More people are joining Substack and leaving Marvel, leaving DC, leaving the big companies, getting lucrative deals for more money. It's all about money. We live in a capitalistic society, and we're going to do what's in our best interests. It's kind of how the world works. I know there's governments out there that try to circumvent that, try to create ulterior methods of government that obviously don't work very well. Not that anything is perfect, right? Nothing is perfect. Human beings are involved. There is no such thing as perfection. And there's always somebody that gets screwed. That's just life. If you were born in America, you hit the lottery. You hit the literal human race lottery. You could have been born in Bangladesh. What are some other countries where your chance of doing well? Well, a lot of African countries. Your chance of making it to 10 years old is pretty rare. Yeah, when you're born in America, you're born in I'm not going to say the most prosperous society on the planet, but I don't know. It seems like It's generated the most entrepreneurs. It's generated the most innovation. Yeah, I think about all the major inventions in the last, let's say, 80 years, 100 years, almost all the technology we enjoy, all the conveniences of life were basically designed, promoted, and manufactured in this country. That's just the way it is. No historian will debate that. Years ago, I did have a guy that was trying to debate me on that. He kept espousing how great Europe was versus America. Yeah, I don't think he's touting that today. I don't think so. Yeah, Europe's a nice place to visit briefly, but live there? No. Believe me, I know a lot of people that have come to America from Europe. They like it here way better, way better. So that's where we are. That's where we are in life. So we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship tonight. Certain people have decided to part ways with major companies. Basically the corporate machine that we see today. Marvel and DC are I would say that's the corporate machine, right? Those are the corporate cronies. And the independent publishers are pretty much where you want to be if you're a creator and you want to create content and you want to own it and you want to prosper financially, not just financially, but in all ways, right? Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go into a lot of detail on some things going on. And what I'm calling the best speculation of 2021, it's already over. So, I did talk about it in my channel. I did post about it on Instagram. And there was a 48-hour window to take advantage of it. It was $250 for the year. And it's easily the best speculative. I don't think I'll buy a better comic book. There won't be a better speculation I make the rest of this year than what that was. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to check out and see if there's any comic book news. There's a couple things going on right now in the comic book world that we can talk about. So we're going to look at that. Real quick, there is a book that I picked up at 7 p.m. 24 minutes ago. Let me share the screen here. I'm going to promote a couple of exclusives tonight. First one is from Nocturnal Comics. That's when I read my comic books at night. Or I try to before I go to bed. So this is Primordial #1. This is a cool looking book. This is by artist. The cover is by artist Bjorn Berens. It's $20. It went live 24 minutes ago. And let's see, are there any left? It's still available in raw, so there are raw copies. And there's still a 9.8 signature series available. I'm assuming that's going to be, it's signed by good old Bjorn. So it's cool. It's a cool looking image. I like him. He's a cool artist. He does a lot of covers for Spawn. If you haven't checked out his Instagram, please do so. He's got a really cool Instagram page. He's a digital artist. I think he does hard copy stuff too, but most of his stuff is digital. And I just think this is a cool looking cover. It's limited. I think there's only 400 copies, 500 copies maybe, raw. I think it's 500. Yeah, 500 print run. It's a virgin cover. I picked up two copies, full disclosure. Picked up 2 copies. I do think it will sell out. The John Gallagher, I think, is very close to selling out. I saw an email from one of the websites selling the John Gallagher exclusive for Primordial #1, and I think they said they had like 30 copies left. Sell out next day, so I think this will out by the weekend, maybe sooner. I don't know. There are a lot of fans of Bjorn Berens, and I do think this is one of the better covers so far. The Gallagher one's really good too, but I think this one is maybe slightly better, just slightly. So if you like it, pick it up. It's still available. Nocturnal. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Nocturnal Comics. It's nocturnalrabbit.com. Excuse me, nocturnalrabbit.com. GTK Comics says Gallagher is Canadian. Yes, he is, sir. That's why he does a lot of books through Mutant Beaver. He does a lot through Mutant Beaver. What's the other store up there in Canada? There's another one up there. I can't remember the name. But yeah, he does a lot of exclusives up in Canada. I don't like to buy comic books from Canada because the shipping's expensive. Usually has to go through customs. In fact, I've had people try to buy comic books from me from Canada, and I've refunded their money and sent their money back. Said, nah, no thanks. I don't want to deal with the shipping. Because I had a bad experience. It was a while ago. It was probably more than a year ago. I sent something to Canada, and I don't know. It never got there. It was lost. I never got it back. It was a total loss. And I don't think I didn't have the book insured or anything. I don't think it was a real expensive book, but yeah, I'm just going to keep it to the U.S. I don't do any international shipping on my eBay stuff. Anything I sell through eBay, it's all U.S. only. And I've learned I don't do media mail anymore. I've had a couple packages intercepted by media mail. I learned the hard way. So I do first-class mail, which is usually fine. I'll do priority if it's a really expensive book, but for the most part, I do first class. You get some insurance on it. And I've never really had any issues with first class mail. Usually it goes through pretty quickly. Yep, that's right. Uncanny Knack. Gallagher has his own website. He does sell some exclusives through his website. Thank you, GTK Comic, for mentioning that. So check that out. UncannyKnack.com, I think it is the email address. So that was one I wanted to show you. The Primordial #1 Bjorn Berens exclusive still has some available. I think that is a good enough cover to sell out. It's only $20, only 500 print run. I could see that selling out. Remember, this is a Jeff Lemire written book. His books tend to do pretty well. A lot of them tend to get developed into something. He had that Netflix show this past year I watched. It was pretty good. What was that? On that kid with the ears. I didn't buy the comic book. Damn, I can't remember the name of it. I think I have it in my phone here. What is it? What was the name of that damn book? I can't remember now. Anyways, Jeff Lemire is a good writer. Let me go refill my drink. I'll be right back, guys. 1 second. No kidding. No. Oh, all right, I'm back. Cheers, everyone. All right, so we were talking about Primordial Nocturnal Rabbit. Check that book out. The next one is through a good buddy of mine, Spectral Comics. Used to be at Scorpion Comics, affiliated with Scorpion Comics. So he knows a thing or two about exclusives. And this is one that is going to be available tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the Department of Truth, Gerald Perel cover. I like it. It's cool. It's the Breakfast at Tiffany's scene, I think it is what it's an homage to. What I really like about it is it's limited to only 300 copies. It's going to sell out pretty fast, probably within 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, 300 print run, really low. I expect it to sell out. So if you're interested in it, make sure you set your alarm for tomorrow at 6 p.m. At 6:05, it's too late. Yeah, I think it's going to sell out that quickly. So make sure your alarm is set. SpectralComics.com. SPECTR. I can't spell. Let me check it real quick. I don't want to screw this up. SPECTRAL comics.com. All right. I'll at the end of this video, I'll post a link to their website. I'll also post a link to Nocturnal Rabbit's website as well. So if anybody misses it in the live stream, they can just check the description at the end of the video. I'll make sure I post that in the description. But I like that one. It's a cool cover. There's like a virgin and trade dress set, so I'll probably end up picking up the set. Well, I think it's sold as a set, right? $300 for the set. Yeah. I don't know what the price is. I'm going to guess the price is going to be like $50 or $60 for that that low print run. It's probably going to be around that price. So if it does sell out quickly, yeah, it'll be like $120 on eBay probably 10 minutes later. So for those speculators out there, check it out, see if you like it. I think it's a cool looking cover. There's cardstock variant. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining the chat. And you guys be more interactive. You got questions for me? You want me to look at something? Please do that. I am being brought some McDonald's. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I might be eating while I'm doing this live stream. That's very possible that that's going to happen. So I'll try not to. I'll try not to be too disgusting while I do that. Infamous says there will be a 500 trade as well for the Gerald Perel cover. Okay, there you go. So there'll be 300 sets, which basically means there'll be 300 virgin covers, and then once those sell out, there'll be some trade dress left over, right? So you'll have about 200 extra trade dress available. So check that out. Or is it 500 plus 300? It's probably 500 trade dress. 300 of the sets. Yeah, okay. So there's really going to be 800 trade dress, right? Am I doing that math right? I don't know. I could be right about that. GTK Comics says, give us your take on CBCS signature gate, please. Oh, yeah. I heard about that. Somebody sent in a signature that wasn't the real signature. I mean, the graded companies, they make mistakes all the time. I don't need to tell you that. There's lots of videos of other YouTube channels that have experimented with the grading companies. The one that comes to mind was, I know Billy did one, Economics and Comics. He did a really cool video on a book he sent in for grading I think he sent it in a couple times, and it came back with wild difference in grade. It was like, it wasn't like one difference. It wasn't like one upgrade or downgrade. It was like 2 or 3 grades different. And they missed like some really obvious things that were wrong with the book. So this was CGC, by the way. And then there was a post on CBSI, which I did a video on it on my Instagram channel. Guy sent in a book claiming it condition, no problems with the book, and it had an obvious damage done to the book. So yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know what to tell you guys. These grading companies have been caught red-handed before. Anybody that doesn't think so, you need to investigate it for yourself. Years ago, there were some big problems in the sports memorabilia market, baseball cards. Yep, GTE Comic realizes this. There was a guy that was like a Michelangelo of signing. This guy could sign identically to a lot of famous baseball players. And I remember watching I think it was a Dateline or a 60 Minutes or Dateline. One of the major news channels did a whole thing about it. I think HBO Sports did a thing on it. It was crazy. This guy was like, yeah, more than 80% of the signatures out there are probably fake. So, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, guys. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not somebody who really cares about getting something signed, but I do have a couple comic books signed, only because I met the artist. I've got a couple comic books that were signed by Jim Lee. I have pictures of me taken with me, with him signing it. So, obviously it was authenticated. I don't care if anybody believes it was authentically Jim Lee's signature. I know it was. I witnessed it myself. And I have pictures proving that I met him at a store where he was doing a signing. I don't care to get the books graded. One of them is a very expensive book. I don't plan on selling it. The only reason I believe in getting something graded is if you're one of these people that just loves to have something in one of those slabs just because to you it has better eye appeal and you just want it slabbed and want it authenticated. You want it forever in that grade, kind of museum archived or whatever. That's fine. Or if you're looking to sell the comic book, obviously if it gets a good grade, it will increase the amount of profit to a given comic book. But a lot of people grade their books. I think way too many people grade their comic books way too often. Stuff that just came out like 2 months ago, they're already getting graded. I don't see that that's worth doing. I really don't. I don't know. That's my opinion on that. Grading is not cheap. It's expensive. It's not perfect. A robot is not grading your comic book. A human being is. So, of course, it is subject to error. You're not witnessing them handling your book. So, oops, they dropped it. One of the corners were damaged. They'll grade it anyways, and they'll just claim that it came that way. So, even if you have a video of the comic book, right, you're videoing the comic book in this particular condition, you're taking a video very carefully of all the edges, and yeah, here's the condition of the book, and you're videoing yourself wrapping it, putting it in a top loader or whatever, and putting it in the package and sealing it. Off it goes to the grading company. Is that proof that I sent it I sent it in perfect condition? Is that proof? Well, I mean, it's possible it was damaged in shipping. It's possible that even though you showed it sealed and videoed it as the condition it was and put it into a sealed envelope or a sealed box, Who's to say you didn't open it up after you were done videotaping it and putting in another comic book that was slightly damaged of the same book? You know, there's just so many variables involved in grading, a lot of variables, and that's the problem. So I don't know that everybody that sends in a book that great companies are on up. So a lot of variables of things that can go wrong. I would say the best way to ensure having your book evaluated properly and graded is if you're at a Comic-Con and CGC is right there, their booth is right there, and they have a grader right there on site that can look at your comic book, evaluate it. You're going to pay extra. Let's say you're going to pay extra money to have it evaluated and graded right there on site, on the premise. You can view the grader the whole time. That's the only way to really ensure that, you know, your stuff isn't being mishandled. It isn't, you know, switched out with another book. I mean, anything can happen. You know, these grading companies, they can claim whatever. They can say, oh, yeah, we've got dual control. We have 2 people evaluating every book. We have, you know, we have a security system in place. I mean, shit, banks abscond with people's money all the time. These are federal banks do crazy shit all the time and steal people's money. People at the bank. I mean, I was in banking 30 years. I've seen it all. I've seen tellers to vice presidents steal money, literally steal money from depositors, go into safety deposit boxes and steal shit. I mean, it's all anything you can think of has happened in banking, and banking is supposed to be highly regulated, dual control, audited, up the ass, right? It's completely audited and evaluated, and shit still happens. So if you don't think it can happen to your grading company that you're sending your comic book in, you live in a very, very naive world. I envy you. I envy your naivete, as they say. I don't know. I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of nefarious shit going on, and I don't know how you can prove it either way. So my suggestion is, if you have a hard on for getting books graded, I would just get it graded in person, where you can view the grading, you can verify everything that's going on. If you ship out your comic books, you know, stuff can happen. I don't know what to tell you. There's a risk. There's a risk in everything. That's life. I don't know what to tell you. Craig said, I suspect 69% of all life is a simulation. Oh, yes. I love that Matrix movie where the guy's like, put me back in and I don't want to remember anything. That's a great acting scene. I can't remember the guy's name, a little short guy with the goatee. He obviously was the traitor in that first movie. But man, that was such a good scene. He's like, I don't want to remember anything. Like, he wanted back in the Matrix, right? Yeah. So people want to believe. That's it. Even if they know it's not true, they still want to believe. It's in everything. It's in comic books. It's in religion. It's in every aspect of life. You're going to be dealing with that. All right. Cardstock says, graded books display nicely, but I'd pay to have it clean, pressed, and slabbed with no number grade on the front. Wow. That's an interesting comment. I don't know about that. Maybe that'll be a trend. They'll just grade, press it, seal it, and the grade is subjective. I got a lot of comic books to show you guys tonight. I got a big order in today. A bunch of comic books came in the last couple days. Some really, really cool covers. I've got an old book that I bought. I got it on an auction. I got real lucky on it. I love it. It's a great condition old book, so you guys will enjoy it. It's a really nice looking book. GT Key Comics says Joe Pantoliano. Oh, that's sounds like he's in the mob already. Was that the CEO of CBCS? I think I've seen him. He's got that like greased back hair. I think he's got like a little ponytail. Yeah, always be careful somebody with a ponytail. That's my advice to you. Be careful with somebody with a ponytail. Or a man bun. Man bun too. Is display purposes show great on back. All right. Interesting. All right, guys. So that's it with the promotion. Those are the exclusives that I was looking at. Let's show off some comic books. I did this alphabetically, so we'll do this in a more organized fashion. So the first one I got here is Batman Secret Files, Huntress #1. I can't remember who the artist is on this. Man, I love that cover though. Total cover buy, I think it was a 1 in 25. I think I paid $20 for it, so I got a good deal on it. Things from Another World, so I think where I got it from, pre-ordered. This one I got for under $10. Free comic book day, the Miko Suyan Virgin Color version. Got that on eBay. Got a nice deal on that one. It's sold out. It's pretty, I don't know. It's going for a little bit more than that now. It's a cool looking cover. I like Miko Suyan's art. Bunny Mask #2. That's been a good series. A lot of exclusives. I like it so far. Nice book. That's from Aftershock Comics. DC Horror Presents The Conjurer. This is the second printing. I just like that cover. I don't know. I thought that cover looked awesome, so I picked it up. Second print. Oh, I love this cover. This was one that I talked about on my Instagram. I talked about it on my channel. I interviewed Javon Jordan on my channel, by the way. He's been on my channel. Nice guy. We did a live stream together, and I love his artwork, man. This is just a great book. God, look at that cover. Department of Truth. What is it, number 12? I think it's number 12. 11 or 12. The Nirvana cover. It's just badass. Look at that freaking cover. Who doesn't love that cover? I mean, it's what, $180, $200 book. It's awesome. I think I paid $10 for that. It's awesome. Department of Truth #1. This is the, what is this, the fifth printing, sixth printing? Fifth or sixth printing? I don't know. Pretty cool. I like it. Yellow cover. The Lot #1. I like Bad Idea Comics. I mean, a lot of people don't like them and say, oh, they're just doing all kind of shenanigans. I like this book. It's awesome. I mean, their paper, their cover is beautiful. It came in absolutely, I mean, it's probably a 9.9. It's freaking amazing shape. It's just, they use such quality. Their book is so good. It's so much better than Marvel. Marvel can't even come close. Marvel prints their covers on pages inside this book the pages inside this book are better than the covers that Marvel uses for quality. So Marvel sucks. Bad Idea, way better than Marvel. Again, I love independent publishing. I think it's the wave of the future. Here's another one. This was a MegaCon exclusive. Jay Lee, I love Jay Lee. He's a nice guy. He was there at the MegaCon doing signings, and this was an exclusive through the MegaCon. I bought it online. I paid a good penny for it. I didn't get it real cheap. This is The Me You Love in the Dark. There was a blank cover, limited to 400 copies, and then there is a Virgin art cover that he did, Norman Rockwell homage. Oh man, this is such a good cover. I love it. I've only seen 1 or 2 copies for sale on eBay. I bought one of them, so I just think it's awesome. Jay Lee, very, very exclusive, and it doesn't seem like too many people want to sell this book right now. Everyone seems to want to hold on to it, so that should tell you something. These are 2 books I got, the Virgins of Delato, Moon Knight #1, Delato Virgins, $20 each. They're pretty nice. I love Delato's artwork. White cover. They came in beautiful shape. I think I got these from Frankie's Comics. I don't pay shipping. Pretty good deal for me. I like that deal. Nottingham #1. I got today in the mail I think this is the 4th and 5th printing. There's the 4th. I like the 4th printing a lot. That black and white cover is pretty cool. There's the 5th printing. This series is on fire. Mad Cave. I mean, they're up to like a 5th printing already on the first. Third issue. They've gone to. I think that's the 2nd printing. Red cover. I love it. Behind it's the 3rd printing too. I'm not going to show it, but yeah. Nottingham #2. Nottingham #3. That's I think that's the 2nd print. 3rd print's behind it. Picked those up. Pre-ordered those from Things from Another World. I got this from Trinity Comics. I got another copy of the Delato Star Wars. This is the Italian Panini variant. Just an awesome cover. Total cover buy. I love that. I can't read it. It's in Italian. I can't read Italian. So, let's see. Oh, this one's really nice. I think this is Vampirilla number. I think it's 23. I think it's issue number 23. This is the Mastrazo Virgin variant. I think I got this for $35. I've seen it sell as high as $50. So it has gone up a little bit in price. It's just a cool cover, and I love that it's in a Virgin. There's a black. I think I got a black and white coming of this and a regular color version as well. But the Virgin's really nice. Very limited. Let's see what else we got here. Venom number 35. Nico Suyan, black and white. I think I got that from Slab City. I think it was limited to 800 copies. Just a cool cover. I mean, you can see the detail in that. Man, it's so good. Artwork's awesome on that book. Nice thick book, too. Marvel actually spent money on that. They didn't go cheap on the cover, on the quality of the paper on that one. So this is my big book of the night. This is the last book I'm going to show. This is an oldie but goodie, as they say. Uncanny X-Men number 115. Enter Sauron. That's not his first appearance, but this is just a cool book. X-Men 115. Look at the grade on this, too. I mean, oh, it's so good. I got a nice deal on this. There's a couple little teeny spine ticks that you barely can see. It's a really good condition. I would say conservatively, there's a little bit of a, not a crease, but something that it can be pressed out. It's like an indentation in the middle that goes through the book. It was probably one of those books that came folded. You know, back then they would send books to people's homes, and they would be folded in half. So it has a little bit of a. It can be pressed out though. You can barely see it. It's just in the middle of the book. There's a little indentation. It's not a crease or anything. It's totally easy to press out. You know, if this book was pressed and graded, I think it would be like a 9.0, 9.2, maybe 8.5. Lowest would be at 8.5. Anywhere from an 8.5 to a 9.2, I would put this at that type of grade. Just a really nice looking book. Classic X-Men cover. So that's the books I had to show you guys. Real quick, let's talk real fast about what's going on with Substack. I don't want to be on here too long. I got shit to do. I got to eat food. Let's see here. Empire of the Tiny Onion. So I am a founding tier member of James Tynion's. Hold on a second here. Woo. Let me share my screen. 1 second. There we go. All right. So James Tynion has a Substack. It's basically a newsletter online through Substack. You can subscribe to it for a minimal fee. I think it's $7 a month or something cheap like that. Or you can do what I did. Well, you can't anymore. It's closed out. Sorry. So The $250 a year membership, it gets you access to his newsletter and 6 comic books per year. So he is going to be independently publishing comic books. Almost everyone's going to read it digitally, but if you were part of this founders tier group, which I don't know how many are in this group, I'm going to assume it's less. It was $200 a year, and for that membership, you're going to get 6 comic books per year. One of them will be signed by James Tynion. He's not telling you which one it will be, but one of them will be signed. And in my opinion, the signed book is probably worth the price of the subscription, right? I mean, you're going to at least get, I think, $250 worth of value out of the signed book. And the other 5 books, they're going to be exclusive just to the founding tier members. So let's say there's only 1,000 tier members, and he produces a comic book that does very, very well. It's very well received by the public that will only be able to really mostly read it online. But let's say 1,000 people out there are getting a physical copy of that comic book. I mean, come on, how is that not the best speculation of the year? That I am one of a small group of people that are going to have a physical comic book sent to me from James Tynion that will only be to this group. It won't be sold to stores. It won't be sold through Image. You're not going to be able to buy it unless someone from the group decides to sell it, right? So what is that worth? I think we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out what it's going to be worth. I don't know. Oh, GTK Comics says Joe Pantoliano was the actor in that Matrix scene. Okay, thank you, GTK Comics. Who was I saying that was the guy that's the CEO of CBCS? That's funny. Yeah, that was the acting scene. Yeah, I love that scene. Nirvana book. Yeah, I got lucky on that one. Hey, there's Rafi. Good to see you, buddy. The German version of the Delato High Republic book is going for some decent money on eBay. Yeah, I think the German was more limited than the Italian version, but I just wanted it for the cover buy. I didn't care what language it was in or how limited it was. That didn't matter to me. So I think easily the best spec of the year, which is no longer available, is the Tynion exclusive deal. I don't think you're going to see anything this year that's going to match that, in my opinion. When these books come out, was there risk? I mean, I guess there's risk that James Tynion doesn't fulfill his 6 comic books in the span of a year. I suppose that's possible. I mean, remember, this is like Kickstarter. This is like Indiegogo. It's the same concept. He's being funded by Substack instead of going directly to the direct buyer. I know people that do Kickstarter or do Indiegogo, you're basically going to the public and you're saying, hey, send me money. I have a track record of fulfillment. So fulfillment means whatever you paid me, $50, $75, $100, whatever the tier is, this is what you're going to get for spending that money. So I just did a Kickstarter for a book called, starts with an E. What's the name of it? Let me look it up real quick. I got emails from these people. I did it because of the artists involved. Let me see here real quick. It was a Kickstarter campaign. God, I'm getting old. I can't see anymore. I have to use my glasses all the time now. Oh yeah, Yuli's Vision #4. So I ended up funding this campaign because there was a Shannon Mayer cover and there was a Kale No cover that were fantastic, and they're both metal covers. So I gave them a nice chunk of money, and they are fulfilling it. I've been confirmed by email. I'm happy. I'm assuming what the print run on that is. It's going to be pretty low, though. They're probably going to be worth some money. If you don't think these Kickstarter books can be worth money, that Pop Kills #4 comes to mind. The Adam Hughes cover, I think the original campaign, it was only like maybe $80 to $100. It wasn't a whole lot of money. And that book is what, $1,000 in raw condition. I think it's sold as high as $1,500 in graded condition. And that was a Kickstarter campaign. So this is the future, guys. It's not Marvel and DC. I'm sorry, it isn't. And this is the way I would view it. Marvel and DC are the farm system. They are the farm system for the big leagues. The big leagues now are going independent, whether it's Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Image, Boom Studios, basically wherever a creator can go and get a large percentage of ownership. In some cases, 100%, right? Tinion's is at Substack. He's getting 100% ownership of the IP of whatever he creates. Image is the same way. Image collects a fee for publishing. Substack is basically the same concept as Image, but they're writing some big checks right now. They just signed on Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman to an exclusive deal. So Donny Cates, trust me, Donny Cates is done with Marvel. Once he finishes up his runs of Venom and Thor, he's gone. You're not going to see him do Marvel books anymore. I mean, maybe he'll do a miniseries if they pay him enough money, but he's going to go over to Substack, and he's gotten he probably got wrote $1 million check to come over. I'm sure, huge money, and they will fund his campaign. They will provide funding, and then he'll sell directly to the customer. That's where it's going. So these creators that treat their customer poorly, the only place they're going to be able to work is Marvel and DC. That's just the way it is. Now, I'm not saying people aren't still going to buy Marvel and DC books. The characters at those companies are still epic, still fantastic. But if you're a creator, you go cut your teeth for a few years at Marvel and DC. You do really well there. You take one of their classic characters, like Batman with Tinian, like Cates did with Thor, and you develop those characters. You make some unique storylines, and then once you become popular, you take that experience and that popularity, and you go independent. You take that that strength of what you've been able to build, your reputation, your brand. You're basically building a brand at Marvel and DC with their characters. And then once you are able to do that, then you leave. That's comic books today. So if you're a young artist, a young writer, and you're wanting to enter the comic book market, I think it's still a good avenue to go into Marvel and DC and work with their best characters and make your mark, and then leave. Do it for a couple years, like Tinian did, like Cates did. Cates has been at Marvel for 3 or 4 years now. He changed Venom. He created some new characters, like Null, which he stole, by the way. You know, he did some things that created buzz in the comic book industry, and he's gone. He left. So that's what you need to do if you're a creator and you're entering the comic book market right now. You need to create content so that you can build up your brand and then you leave. I still think Image is a great way to go. I think Boom Studios offers a nice deal. Substack is a new player into this market. James Tynion, is, to my knowledge, is their first big comic book creator. But then all of a sudden, Tynion joining, that's a big deal. Hulk, he is just telling you, Cates is eventually going to pull away from Marvel. That's what's going to happen. He's getting a nice lucrative deal right now by Marvel, but eventually there's way longer term, there's way more money in creating your own character. Trust me, Todd McFarlane makes 50 times more money than all these fuckers. All of them. Easily. Way more money than all of them. And before McFarlane, Jeff Smith made way more money than any of those guys at that time. So independent publishers, it's the way to go. It is the future of comic books. It is. I buy 70 to 80% of my comic book purchases these days are independent publishing. It's not Marvel and DC. It just isn't. I'm just telling you from my experience, I've been in comic books a long time, over 35 years. That's the way it's going. That's the way it's going. So hats off to these guys, these creators. I think it's smart what they're doing. They're going to make way more money going independent. I don't know. I think Marvel and DC, they're dinosaurs. I mean, they've got great characters. The only thing they have going for them is they've got, a history of great characters that have been built, and they've built a history with these characters, which, of course, they could destroy anytime they want, right? They've done that. Null was stolen from Elric. Go look at a picture of Elric cardstock and tell me that isn't Null. It's totally Null. The long hair, the white hair, the big fucking sword. It's Elric. Sorry. Cates will never admit that, but he completely stole that character from Elric. If Moorcock was alive today, I think he would sue the shit out of Cates. GTK Comics says, how do you think Cates will do on Hulk? I think he'll do okay. I mean, Immortal Hulk was really good. The first story arc was fantastic. And then Al Ewing it got a little boring midway through. I still read every issue. I've collected every issue of Immortal Hulk. I'd like to see what Cates does with it. I think it could be good. We'll have to see. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, it should be interesting. So that's it, guys. I've been on here for an hour. That's usually my time limit. I'm gonna eat my dinner now and watch some TV and chill for the rest of the night. I will have a live stream tomorrow. I'm going to be on at 7 p.m. tomorrow with Biggie Shack. I'll send out notification on that. So Biggie Shack and I will be Biggie Shack and also Stay Puff. Stay Puff, is it Stay Puff 83? I think it's Stay Puff 83. We're going to be talking comics, but we're also going to be doing our favorite comedians list. Who our favorite comedians are. I'm going to write that up tonight. I've got the top 5 in my front of my mind. So make sure you check that out. It'll be a lot of fun. For anything, it'll be entertaining for sure. So make sure you check that out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on with Biggie Shack and Stay Puff 83. All right, guys. Thanks for joining the live stream and in the chat. Have a good evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.